to another exciting episode of the Insurance Untangled Podcast. My name is, for today, Sweet Cheeks, is named by Jordan, but my real name is Ben Tuine. We love to have lots of giggles here during our pre-show prep. You know, I'm one of the co-hosts on this podcast, and we're dedicated to helping practices that are tangled up with insurance. We talk about topics that help you take control of your practice to create a bigger, better, and brighter future for you, your patients, and of course, your team members. Again, my name is Ben Tuine, and today we're going to talk about how to dominate Google SEO with our very, very much resident expert. There's probably no words to describe how smart Naren is with marketing ideas, but Naren, looking forward to picking your brain today. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, looking forward to this conversation, and always when Jordan is here, we always have fun. So Jordan, thanks for being on.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what there's something wrong with me. I don't know.
You have a funny.
For those of you listening, for those of you listening that don't know, we just goof off before we record this, and I make stupid comments that I have no reason or rhyme. I just do it. It just happens naturally, I guess.
Life is too short. You gotta live and laugh and have fun.
Right? That's my motto.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's cool. Well, Naren, let's dive into it. I got the first question for you, and so the question is, why do 95% of the practices that are out there get zero or very little traffic when they do Google SEO?
That's a great question. And I think it kind of goes back to the business model that Google is built on. So we all use Google for free, right? None of us pay a subscription to use Google. Like Netflix costs us $10 a month. Google is free. We can use it from every device. Many times we don't even need to have a search engine open. We can just type it into our browser address bar, like a Chrome address bar. So we use it every day, 8.7 billion times a day. And Google doesn't make a cent from any of this work it does to support us with SEO. So we as consumers go there, type whatever question we have, whether it's booking a restaurant appointment, dinner appointment that night, or whether it's helping our child with a school project, for those of us who have young children, or whether it's finding a dentist. So we use Google to make those decisions and at the same time educate ourselves. A lot of times we are using Google to learn about, let's say, implants or veneers, but at the same time, we are learning about the doctors who can help us with those types of services and making a decision. So who are we going to see? Whose phone are we going to call? So it's a very powerful tool in helping us learn, helping us decide. Now, because Google doesn't make a dime with all this huge investments they make in search engine, they need a way to monetize it. The way they monetize it is they have ads. So next to every Google search, there are many, many, many ads that are displayed by Google. It's clearly marked. It's called a sponsored listing or paid ad, or one of those terminologies they use. So they're very honest. They kind of let you understand which is the free stuff you came there to look for versus the paid ad stuff. And Google made last year $224 billion. With a B, $224 billion just from Google Ads. Google has other businesses, but Google Ads contributed $224 billion. So if I'm Google and I need to grow that number, right? It started out at $70 million almost 20 years ago. And today it's $224 billion a year. So if I want to grow the number, how do I do it? I charge more and more money for every click. That's one way to do it. Second, I make the free traffic as little as possible, right? Because if you as the business owner are not getting any free traffic, you have no choice but to pay money to Google in the form of ads to get the paid traffic. So they make the free traffic super hard, and only like 5% of the practices get most of the traffic and 95% get nothing. So that's why, to answer your question, that's why 95% of practices get zero or very little traffic from Google for free.
Got to pay to play.
Pay to play, right? Everybody has to make money. Everybody has bonuses to make and targets to meet for their board of directors and their shareholders.
Right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have some thoughts on that. There's ways to, if you pay, which I know your thoughts on paying versus getting organic SEO, which I think both are great. There's ways to structure your offering so your marketing pays for itself, but that I think we should talk about doing that on another podcast. There's some stuff that I could, at least that we do it here at Boom Cloud, that allows us to pay for our own marketing when when we drive, PPC ads, for example, when we drive patients through, or not patients, customers through their journey, we can sell like an ebook or a course, and those course sales actually pay for the ad sales. So there's some ways that I think a practice may be able to utilize PPC ads to essentially build a marketing funnel that pays for itself. But that's just where my mind goes, dude. So let's go back to organic SEO and all that fun stuff. How do we dominate Google and be in the top 5% of practices that are in those search engine results pages?
Yeah. So because 95% of the people get very little of free traffic, the million-dollar question of this episode is, how do we get into the top 5% that's getting all or 95% of the free traffic? How do we get into the top 5% that's getting 95% of the free traffic from Google? Now, when we talk about SEO, we are talking about both the Google Maps product. I'm sure you all have seen a map with some listings. Also, we are talking about the regular search product. And we're also talking about, desktops, mobile, Chrome, and like everywhere, right? All over the internet. That's how we end up with 8.7 billion searches a day. So the way to get into the top 5% is like, I like to use an analogy. The analogy is getting into the top dental school in the world, right? Everybody wants to get into that #1 school in the world. And there are many, many, many more applicants for every spot they have. So let's, just to make our math easy, let's say 10% of the people get in, right? So 90% have to be rejected. So how does that dental school decide who are in the top 10%? Now, the same method is used by every top undergraduate university, right? Like think of Stanford or Harvard or MIT, any one of those crazy competitive programs to get into, they use the same method. So they have 5 or 6 things they look for in the application process, and you have to ace every one of them. If you ace all of them, then you get in. If you don't ace them, you don't get in. So for example, maybe it's the standardized test, SAT, if you're doing undergrad, or DAT if you're trying to get into dental school, right? Maybe that's one of those criteria. You need to ace it. You need to be in the top 2-3% of that exam percentile. Maybe another one they're looking at is your GPA, right? Of course, nobody likes to take in kids who struggled at school, especially if you're at the top school, right? Perhaps they're looking for those references from others you have worked with in the past. Perhaps they're looking at your CV, your resume, to see what kind of experiences you have from the past. Maybe it's the interview and how well that those interviews went and what the people who interviewed thought of you. So all these criteria, maybe 5-6 criteria, you have to ace all of them. If you ace all of them, there's somewhat of a chance you might get into that top school you're interested in. Same thing with SEO. Google has 6 things it looks at, and you have to ace all those 6 things. And for now, I'm just going to name them, and I'm going to stop there, and perhaps we'll get into more detail later on. Google Lighthouse Score. That's one of those 6 things. NAP, name, address, phone number, consistency. Original content, quality backlinks, 5-star love letter Google reviews. And last but not least, Google Eat. So these are the 6 things. And imagine you are acing every single one. How are you acing them? You're working on it day after day, week after week in these 6 areas. And because you are in the A category in all 6, automatically you get into the top 5%. Now, when you're in the top 5%, you will rank for 100 or more keywords, and you will be getting 95% of the free traffic. So you will have an unfair advantage. And that's what this podcast is about. Like, how do you create that unfair advantage where instead of just spending money on ads or any other marketing that's paid marketing, you get free traffic, and you are in the top 5% that gets 95% of the free traffic.
That's awesome. Gosh, it kind of gives me a giant headache just thinking about this and putting myself in the shoes of a dentist, thinking about, well, how do I get traffic? How to get new patients, and how do I dominate this whole Google SEO game? And when you really think about what you just said, Naren, in the last 2 minutes, there's so much to consider, right? In terms of this whole game of marketing, especially when you're looking at Google SEO. But let's start first with this. One thing that you said there is NAP, N-A-P, NAP. Can you explain what that is and what practices should do, or what they should be paying attention to as it pertains to NAP?
100%. NAP stands for name, address, phone number. Name, address, phone number. There are hundreds of websites out there that will list your practice name, your practice address, and your practice phone number. They won't call you, get your permission. They'll just list your information. Example might be City Search. Another example might be yellowpages.com. Yelp. There are many, many sites. US News. Many sites where they list your name, address, and phone number.
I would imagine like insurance company sites as well.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Insurance company sites. So there are hundreds of these sites with your name, address, and phone number. And the interesting thing is Google, again, wants to keep this this group of people who get free traffic very tiny, right? 5%. So one of the rules they have is if your information is not consistent across all these websites, your name is not consistent, your address is not consistent, your phone number is not consistent, you get penalized, meaning you will not be considered acing NAP. And if you're not acing NAP, then you're not going to be getting a lot of the free traffic. So that's one way they disqualify you. So one of the things, we ended up doing is we built a large team, and that team's job is to go and find these NAP issues, site by site on behalf of dentists, and then fix them. And a lot of times fixing is the hard part. Finding the issue, you can use tech to find it, but fix it, you're dealing with a human being, a department, a company, and they all work differently. So you have to sometimes, claim a profile. Sometimes you have to verify a profile. Sometimes you have to merge two profiles.
Tedious work.
Yeah.
Tedious, painful work.
Yeah.
And you have to keep at it. And the reason is some of these sites will undo the changes you did. So you work with them, get everything sorted, and then all of a sudden they do this huge update to their database, and all the things you did is wiped out. Why? They don't care, right? Because you're not paying them, you're not their customer. So you yelling at them is not really their problem. They just do what they need to do. They're not paying attention to your needs. So not only do you have to fix it one time, but many cases you have to fix it again and again and again. And the other caveat is we have people we have been working with for 7 years who might have 100 NAP profiles. That means they are in the top 1% when it comes to NAP. Also, they're getting traffic from all these 100 sites. Every one of these sites has a phone number. Every one of these sites will list your website. So they all act like a mini store. Think of it like a kiosk. Apple has kiosks at Best Buy. Apple makes money from those kiosks, just like they make money from the Apple stores. So you can have 100 sites, each helping you, with new patients. So it's a very powerful strategy. It's really, really worth spending a lot of time on a weekly basis, which is why we spend a lot of time with a large team just on NAP.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, that sounds a lot tedious. As tedious as working with PPOs. So you need the team to help you do that. Talk about Google Lighthouse. Weird name. And what is the importance of Google Lighthouse?
Right. So Google is kind of the judge and the jury, right, between us and our visitors. Our
so
customers.
authoritarians, correct?
Authoritarians. So one of the rules that the judge said is, we not only care about NAP, we also care about how you're building your web pages, how you're building your websites. So they came up with 60 specific rules on all the do's and don'ts of how to build web pages. And those rules keep changing. Why? Because they want that 5% to be as tiny as possible. So they want us to keep us on our toes. So every week it changes. If you're lucky, maybe once a month. So every time it changes, Google will give you a tool called Google Lighthouse tool. You can go Google it, Google Lighthouse, and then download or add that Google Lighthouse.
I just want to know if they're following their own rules when you Google it.
And then you
Googling it now.
and then you add that Google Lighthouse extension to your Chrome browser, and then any page you go to and you press that button, it'll show you what the Lighthouse score is on 5 different areas: performance, is the website loading fast, SEO,
sure,
best practices, etc., etc. 5
so
different areas.
Is Lighthouse kind of the tech, the tech tasks you need to do on a website?
Yeah, but you have to do it page by page, because Google is looking at each page and saying, if that page is getting 100% for all the 5 areas or close to 100%, it's in the A category, therefore it's going to rank. But some other page on your website is not, so it's not in the A category. It's not
drag it down.
They drag it down, exactly. So the way we tackled it is we built, again, a large webmaster team. Their job is to go find your Lighthouse score every week, every month, and then fix the issues. Good thing about Google is it's a clean actor. They don't do any hanky-panky, so they'll tell you what to do. But the problem is it's a lot of work. So again, you know, that's why we have a large team. That's all they do. Just find these issues, fix these issues. And to Google's defense, Google is trying to represent the rights of everyone on the internet. Somebody might be using a tiny device. Somebody might have a poor internet connection.
Sure.
Somebody might be in Hong Kong where there's a set of laws that they have to comply with. Somebody might be in US where there's a different set of laws you have to comply with, right? So they're trying to come up with like, are you yes everywhere? And if you are, you're going to rank, you're going to be in the 5%. If you're not, then you're not. So, I mean, meaning they want everyone to be happy, not just the guy with the perfect connection from the perfect city, you know, with the perfect, you know, huge screen, you know, like everyone. Anyways,
that's crazy.
Interesting.
Man, there's so much to consider. I mean, looking at the Google Lighthouse page here, Google Lighthouse is an open source automated tool for measuring the quality of the web pages. Not pages.
Pages. Yeah.
One by one.
That's crazy. And then you have this thing called original content that I believe you mentioned.
Yeah.
So what is that about?
Yeah. So we before we take on a client, we kind of see where they're at. And 80% of the doctors we talk to have a problem with this. And pretty much Google again is very
copying from other websites and just pasting it into theirs. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and a lot of times it's not the doctor's fault, but the marketing companies.
It's the website company.
Yeah. Because the doctors are not marketing savvy. So they'll say, we'll give you custom content. What they're saying is we'll change your business name. You'll take a template article and put your business name at the top, right? That their definition of custom content. Google doesn't believe in custom content. They believe in original content. Meaning every single word, every single sentence, paragraph must be written by you, not an AI chatbot, not ChatGPT, but by
They got ways to recognize the chatbot stuff is what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, Google can figure all of that. I mean, Google is one of the first companies to invest in AI.
They're like we invented AI, so we know what it's gonna do.
Exactly. So so they know what's written by an actual human being and what's written by AI, what's copied from some other site. They know everything.
Here's one of my questions on this topic. Does a website need to have original content published, a couple times each month, like in the form of a blog or anything like that? Does that help?
Yes. Absolutely. So we publish at least 2 articles a month and we keep doing it. So some of our clients have 100 pages, 150.
And it's original content. No other, it only exists on that practice website.
Exactly. 100% original. So you have to have writers who know how to write.
Yep.
In addition to original, it has to have other guidelines, like how it's written, how many words do you have, minimum 400 words. So you have to pay attention to all these guidelines. And then on top of that, other people will copy you. So we have clients who are ranking for 700 keywords.
Doesn't Google know that they're copying us? I mean, they're smart.
Yeah, they do. But remember, they make money when not from the free guys, it's from the paid guys. So they kind of make it difficult. So one of the things they do is if somebody copies you, they'll punish both parties. Of course, they're smart. They know who copied who, I'm pretty sure. But
of course,
but they don't have to, right? So
I'm going to punish Google.
Get in line, like you can sue them
like everybody else. Yeah,
everybody else.
The monopoly.
Yeah, and I guess they'll just anyways. So I think one of the things we do is, I mean, you can call a lawyer and send a letter, but we don't. It's too much money.
That's a lot of work, a lot of money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we just rewrite it. So let's say there are 3 pages that are copied for Gary, Life Smiles is one of our customers. We'll just go and rewrite those 3 pages.
Do you get rid of the copied content and then rewrite it? Okay.
Yeah, and the tool we use for that is
tedious. You need a team.
Yeah, we use a tool called Copyscape to find the problems, and then then we have actual people rewriting the content in a way that Google likes.
Can't you just find the competitor that copied and just punish them? That's what I want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I know doctors get really angry when they find this out, but then we tell them, okay.
I know my competitors have copied stuff on our website and it annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah. If you're willing to talk to a lawyer and deal with all of that, then of course you can go that route, because what they did is incorrect. Yeah. But I mean, the faster way to do it is just to rewrite it. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay, Naren. So I want to dominate Google. Where do I start as a practice owner?
Yeah. So I think if you want to dominate Google, I really think you need to know where you stand, right? The first question I would ask yourself if I were you is, are you in the top 5%? How do you know you are in the top 5%?
Sure.
You are ranking for at least 100 keywords and phrases on page one, meaning when I type those 100 keywords and phrases, you are showing up either position 1 all the way up to position 10. That's defined as page 1. So if you know that you are in the top 5%, you are ranking for 100 or more keywords in page 1, then keep doing what you're doing. You are already in the top 5%. But if you're not really sure, then I would recommend, booking what we call a marketing strategy meeting. In that marketing strategy meeting, prior to that meeting, we'll spend 6 hours looking at your NAP, looking at your Lighthouse score, looking at original content, all the 6 things Google cares about, and giving you a report card. So, hey, you're getting an A here, you're getting a B here. Here are some examples as to why you're getting a B or a C. And then we also give you a detailed plan on how do we get you to an A within 12 months in every one of those 6 areas. Now, Google is only half the battle, right? Just because you're showing up on Google for free doesn't mean the patient has to still call your office and book that appointment. The second part of the battle is influencing people, like online. So they're more likely to book an appointment with you.
Sure.
So I'm certified by Dr. Robert Cialdini. He's the world authority on influence. So I can teach his courses. By the way, I'll be starting to teach some of those courses. We have webinars coming up in September where we'll be teaching how to apply reciprocity in your practice. This is all
Very
like
cool.
information you cannot get in a book because, this is only like taught through certified professionals. So he has all kinds of, tools and content for, for his community there. So anyways, so we also take a look at that. So how are we applying these influence principles on the internet? How are you applying it on your practice to now convert these, people into new patients? So we have 14 teams, 9 focused on Google, 5 focused on influence. So in that
That's cool.
meeting, we'll talk about, like what's the game plan in these 14 areas. So you get a report card and a blueprint, like a game plan, a 12-month game plan. And it's a $900 value. And, we'll do it for free. So I think that's not a bad place to start. Yes, the only investment is your time. So as long as you can spare the time, I think you will really end up with a solid plan if dominating Google is in the cards for you.
Yeah. See, this is where I was like, man, I wish I had Naren in college. Naren's going to guarantee that I'm going to make an A. I'm going to get an A out of this class. And he's got all these cool things that he's got checklists and systems and processes that's going to make sure that I get an A. So that's all you got, when you get Naren and his team.
Yeah, this is the class should be called How to Appease the Google Gods.
Goodness.
Yeah.
That's funny. No, excellent resources. It reminds me that I need to sit down with you and go through my own website and see what I could improve, because there's always stuff that we can improve. So appreciate this episode today, Naren.
You're welcome. And I think the link is insuranceuntangled.com/MSM, insuranceuntangled.com/MSM. We'll put it on the show notes. Perhaps you could, book that meeting and see where you're at.
Sweet. Naren, Jordan, thank you so much for this episode. And always a pleasure to have Naren sort of impart his wisdom and knowledge. I mean, I've learned quite a bit of new things today as it pertains to Google
Gods.
Yeah, the Google Gods. And I'm kind of thinking about my website and I'm like, man, I probably rank so low in all these different areas. As a business owner myself, I'm thinking, Naren knows his stuff. And if you kind of feel that same way, check out our website to request that MSM marketing strategy meeting, insuranceuntangled.com/MSM. Naren, thank you. Jordan, thank you both for your time today. And to our guests, we want to thank you all and appreciate your listening and tuning into our episodes on a weekly basis. And don't forget to share our episodes if you like them. Share them on social media or any platform that you use. We also appreciate your reviews. Your reviews help us, at least help other doctors find us in terms of content. So please write a review for us on your favorite podcast platform. And by the way, don't forget to visit insuranceuntangledcom. You can find other episodes, including exclusive freebies that we offer to our listeners. Until next time, everybody take care and have a great week.